Hello everyone, it's Eon here. October 26th as I record this, we're going to preview what's coming in November that we can see for fantasy releases. First up, we have Artisan Guild. Now they're not quite where they want to be because one of their team members is sick and hope you feel better soon. But they did release this preview of the Barkwraith Spriggan, but the way it was commented in their post was that it said the following month. So I'm not sure if this is a November or December preview, but I'm thinking November. Arbiter Miniatures is going to be doing Wizards of the Realm, and they've been releasing a few previews as we go throughout. You can tell these are works in progress that are progressing as the month does. Archvillain Games has released their preview, which is Gravebound the Queen's Wail. So you can see their main figure here, Thrinodia, the Wailing Queen. It's quite the diorama. Here we have a Crypt Warden Centurion and a Grimghast. We have a Beltrack and Agnathor the Black Mane. Not the, sorry, I just added that in there automatically. Darum the Sullen Knight and Elastrix the Widow of El-Sind. Now, Archvillain usually does multiple versions. This is being a preview. We're only going to look at a few. Think of this as like a teaser. The Grieving Brand Maven 1 and 2. We'll come back and look at all of the sculpts in the first overview video. We have a Keening Chant Maven, Mournwraith. I think I must have... No, I think I duplicated that slide for some reason. Sorry about that. Lamenting Hex Maven, Necrodar. They do a great job having very unique names. You know if you're dealing with the Archvillain miniature or not. Next up, we have BattleYak Miniatures, and they've done a very small preview of the Arachvillain Underbrood. And you can see these are definitely much still in progress miniature sculpts. But you can kind of get an idea for the flavor of what they're going for. Next up is Bite the Bullet Studios. This month is all about pixies. So here is all of the miniatures in one big diorama. About 11 or 12 miniatures, as well as a few throwbacks that you'll be getting as well. Squirrel for size comparison. Actually, these are pretty big pixies in that case. Notice this one has a little surprise upper back. That one looks familiar. Cast and Play this month will be doing Eternal Monks. So here's a few previews that we were able to pull. They have various sorts, fighting monks and dwarf monks and a tiger rider. Claypiece Creation has released a few previews to tease what's coming. These are the Desert Kings, so miniatures to go along with those. Trail Captain, as well as the Empress of the Sandlord. Crippled God Foundry has put out a preview of theirs, and I'm actually pretty excited for this one. This is the Denizens of Hell, Catacombs of Anguish. And as we go through this, it reminds me of something from not too long ago. Farther back than I'd like to remind myself. We have a Maiden of Anguish and a Butcher. Corrupted Amazons and Fallen Ones. Reminds me of Rakanishu. We have Spiked Fiends and Hellflyers. Definitely getting vibes of a game. Tainted Ones. And here we have Aldrich the Paladin. Hrothgar the Barbarian. And an Amazon. Wonder if that spear is enchanted with lightning. And Lazarus the Necromancer. It's like we're missing a druid, maybe? I don't know. Here we have several different pieces of terrain. A nice throne for our boss battles to go down on. I really like this set, Crippled God. Great job. DM Stash has released a preview of Betting in Blood, which apparently will be their release this month. And again, theirs are usually based around also being a module for 5e. And I really like that central piece here. The rendering is very nice. We see Lindara Slickshot Varth and Brick, a soul-forged bartender. Thalorad Goldhand, illustrious elven merchant, and Sylvius the Slip, an elven rogue gambler. Their miniatures have so much intricate detail. They're really works of art. Here we have the Rasa Cartel Enforcers. I mean, the detail there of every link of that chainmail is almost visible. Or is that not even supposed to be chainmail? I don't know, but you could tell the texture of the fabric. Ygritte Darling, the security chief. And then a gelatinous sphere, which, you know, actually makes more sense. It would be less surface area. There's a lot of physics for why they should be gelatinous spheres and not cubes. Dragon Trapper's Lodge has released some preview concept art for the month of November, so let's take a look. Aw, he's a cute fella. They do have a few tiers. We have the Trapper tier. So some mushroom sorts and some denizens of the underground. Octopus with or something like an octopus with some armor or some decorations, a few people, some mushroom folk. I definitely see the vibe they're going for in this tier. For Soldier tier, we see something kind of similar, not exactly. We see multiple sculpts here. You can see they've really gone for the concept. And to look at the level of detail they go through to put these things together, I'm really impressed. I wish I could draw. I'm jealous. And I appreciate the fact that they take the time to share these images with us. But when you start to look and see what they're doing, you can kind of get the general idea of the gist. And then they've really focused in on the detail work. And then, like you can see here, there's apparently intentions of having some sort of snail, and it needs a mount and it needs a rider. So various levels that go into that. The second month of Dungeon Classics will be coming up, and they've released a few preview arts here. So we have a bronze adult dragon. A dragon. And again, look at the level of detail they go into the art here. Remember, Dungeon Classics is attached to Dragon Trappers. They're different Patreons, but the level of real-world research that they put into this. Here we have a bronze wormling. What looked to be like some kobolds. And a salamander, maybe, or some sort of fire serpent. And then we have a few NPCs, or, well, that spider staff they may not be that friendly, I'm not sure. Epic Miniatures has released their first preview of their first update, and again, we're doing a preview here, so we're not going to do every single sculpt. We'll save that for the overview video once we hit November. And the first one is Hell's Wrath. This seems to be a pretty common theme in November for some reason. But you can see lots of terrain pieces, towers and gates. And there's Diablo himself. We have a swarm of crawling hands. I think it's a pig demon was what it was referred to as. We have a bard. I think it was a corrupted hag was what they referred to it as. Wastrelith wet water demon, a wrath devil, a pit fighter devil, a tail devil. This is a hunchback fiend, and a high warlock. Again, we'll come back and look at the other sculpts and renders once the month hits. Just wanted to give you a sample. Flesh of Gods has released their full sneak peek of the Astral Vortex, if I'm reading that right. That T is upside down. We have an Astral Dreadnought and Shub Nagroth, the Planar Sin. What part of it would you attack? Here we have a couple of Xenoraptors, a Void Worm and a Void Devourer, a Winged Maledict, and a Cosmic Hunter. I think I would name him Lobo. We have a Cosmic Lich and a Cosmic Revenant, Mindreaver Reaper and a Mindreaver Tyrant, a Nightmare Cherub, and a Finn, the Elven Gatewalker. I like that crossbow. Paul Santos, the Fates Vanguard, and a Void Slayer. Then there's a version that comes holding a gun. So yes, I'm including this in fantasy, but this could probably go over to sci-fi as well. We have Yith, the Transplanar Blade, and Zothan, the Doomed Dimension Warlock. An Astral Wanderer, and a Planar Seeker. Flesh of Gods always has an interest in diorama, and this is shown here as well. There's very interesting what's going on here. I'm not entirely sure. And they do release a couple of busts as well, Paul Santos and Yith. Fleshcraft Studios is releasing Sanguine Archives. And here's a few what we're looking at. Champion is the Curator. I know I'm reading bottom up, sorry. Master Grand Sage Salazar, and a trophy of him as well. I suppose once your characters kill him, you can hang a trophy. We have 3 Excruciators, which are elites, and we have 5 Red Scholars that are minions. Goonmaster Games has teased Tiny Hippos, and these come in a couple of different sculpts. Highlands Miniatures has teased out the Aegean Elves. They are returning this month. They took a detour for October till Transylvania, and now we're back to the Aegean Elves. Ichi Forge has released a preview image, very briefly here, of the Vampire Warband. I look forward to seeing more of what Ichi Forge does. Labyrinth Models has released a few previews. We have the Dragon Knights, Dragon Hybrids, Myrmidons, and a Dragon Witch. Last Sword has released a couple of previews. November, the Bannerman, we have Forest Lord on foot for that tier. For the Adventurer, we have some Fearedmen, and Gunrid Swordbreaker, and again for the Bannerman, Shield of the Ancient. I really need to stop doing this, my wallet can't take it. Mantic Vault has not really given us much of a preview yet. It says a blackness of the soul. We'll see what that looks like. They'll probably release this in a day or two now that I've recorded this. One Page Rules has released a few previews. For the Age of Fantasy, they'll be releasing a human monk. And they'll be going into the Wood Elves this month. And so you see some giant owls. And of course, what are elves without archers? You can tell these are preview models, which is perfectly fine. It's wonderful to get a sneak peek behind the process. These are not final releases. The Ratman will be releasing a giant otter. Rescale Miniatures has released a very limited preview so far. This month's release will be Broken Blood, and this is the only image that I've seen released for it so far. They have released a list of miniatures, which is there. You can hit pause and watch, read through it if you so wish, of what they intend on releasing this month. RNE Studio has released some previews, and I'm a bit confused about some of the tiers and how exactly this works. Here they're releasing the Ancient Wild Nest Volume 2. In fact, as I was getting ready to record, I had to go back and add this because they had just posted this. They also had some other November release previews as well. Not exactly sure what these are, how to get these. I was told the Patreon. Classic JRPG, so Japanese role-playing game. And Blizzard, Volume 1. Now, there's a couple of sci-fi in there, but there's some fantasy too. New we have here is Threat Factory. They just came across my feed, and they're previewing a Nightmare for the month of November. And I'm assuming that's a bard in the background. It looks like the edge of a lute. Titan Forge has done their preview for the month of November, and this is Orcs and Wolf Order and RPG stuff as well. I am actually really impressed with Titan Forge's release this month. I'm sure that matters to them, but I like what they're doing here. So we see the Wolf Order. Notice these come with axes or with swords for your rank and file troops. But the Orc release is reminding me of when I first came across a pretty prominent company's flagship product. It just reminds me a lot of those. These come with mounted boars or wolves. These guys just remind me of what I originally saw. I really like these goblins. We have a chariot, which can be pulled by either wolves or boars. It can be manned by goblins or orcs. And then for the RPG corner, we have some myconoids. That seems to be a pretty popular thing. And then somebody who looks like they're probably looking for their brother. I don't know. And then, of course, we always have 3 hero sculpts. So it looks like a couple of gnomes this month. Vae Victis Miniatures, or Vae Victis, is releasing some modular miniatures this month. They do both modular and all-in-one, and these are their modular preview. They're also going to be releasing a Mercenary Brute and a Fish Guard. Curious where that fits in with everything. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll come back in about a week and see what's actually released for the month of November. Thanks for watching. Hope your wallet stays cool.